Hey guys, this is Emmy, and this is Emmy After Dark, where we talk about everything paranormal. My co-host Gelf is running a little bit late, so we can get started without him. Today's topic is time travel, and I'm kind of excited about this topic. Gelf is, of course, has the wealth of information, but I wanted to present um, actually an article that he sent me, which is about, I guess, relics or historical articles that we don't have an exclamation or a reason of why they're there, like they're out of place as far as time goes. Let me see where it is. It's called Ancient Origins, 17 out of place artifacts said to suggest high tech prehistoric civilizations existed. So I don't know if this is about time travel, but this is like a really good, um, I guess, example or like look back. According to the conventional view of history, humans have only walked the earth in our presence, in our present form for some 200,000 years. Advanced civilizations appeared several, whoops, several thousands years ago, but much of the mechanical engine, I can't talk today, ingenuity we know in modern times began to develop only around the Industrial Revolution a couple hundred years ago. Out of place artifact is a term applied to dozens of prehistoric objects found in various places around the world that seem, sorry, I'm getting like a lot of ads, so like everything's kind of going crazy. That seem to show a level of technological advances incongruent with the times in which they were made. Many scientists attempt to explain them using natural phenomenon. Others say such explanations ignore the mounting evidence that prehistoric civilizations possessed advanced technological knowledge that was lost throughout the ages, only to be redeveloped in modern times. So, this is the theory. Did we time travel back, or did we time travel forward? Like, what exactly, in my guesstimation, like, where are we on this like time continuum and exactly who contributed to what? So they mentioned clay jars. So clay jars with asphalt stoppers and iron rods made some 2,000 years ago have been proven capable of generating more than a volt of electricity. These ancient batteries were found by German archaeologist William Koenig in 1938, just outside of Baghdad, Iraq. The batteries have always attracted interest as curious. They are a one-off. As far as we know, nobody else has found anything like these. They're odd things. They are one of life's enigmas. So, who developed that technology? Was it an advancement or what? Let me check in with the chat, see if Go is with. Hey, Khaleesi. Ads. There's ads. Okay, let me go back to the article. So we talked about the clay pots and the ancient batteries. I want to see if I can do this on my phone. I'm switching screens, so if I like lose you guys, my bad. Okay. And then we have talk of ancient Egypt. This is in reference to, I'm going to butcher this, Temple of Hathor at, see the ad just made it go. There we go. Is it Dendera, Egypt? Depicts figures standing around a large light bulb like object. Um, I guess it's written Chariot of the Gods, control of the bulb, which works when connected to a power source, emitting an eerie purplish light. So again, did someone time travel back to this time and gave them this modern technology, or did someone spring forward and then return with this modern technology? Like, did we really develop all of this and it somehow got forgotten during time? Great Wall of Texas. This I have never heard of. In 1852, known as Co. Texas farmers digging a well estimated to be some 200,000 to 400,000 years old, which is, it would be weirder if it was on the older side. Some say it's a natural formation, while others say it's clearly man made. Looks like Dr. Geisman at the University of Texas in Dallas tested the rocks as part of a History Channel documentary. He found they were all magnetized the same way, suggesting they formed where they are and were not moved to the site from elsewhere. But some remain unconvinced by the single TV show tests and ask for further studies. Geologist James Shelton and Harvard trained architect John Lindsay have noted elements that seem to be of architectural design, including archways, uh, is this lintelled portals, and square openings that resemble windows. That's interesting. Number 14, we have a 1.8 billion year old nuclear reactor. In 1972, a French factory imported uranium ore from, I'm going to butcher this name, Oklo in Africa's Gambian Republic. The uranium had already been extracted. They found the site of origin to have apparently functioned as a large scale nuclear reactor that came into being 1.8 billion years ago and was in operation for some 500,000 years. That's serious. Okay. Dr. Seaborg, former head of the United States Atomic Energy Commission and Nobel Prize winner for his work in the synthesis, I can't talk, of heavy elements, explained why he believes it wasn't a natural phenomenon and thus must be man made. A man made nuclear reactor. For uranium to burn in a reaction, very precise conditions are needed. The water must be extremely pure, for one, much purer than exists naturally. The material TAC-235 is necessary for nuclear fission to occur. It is one of the isotopes found naturally in uranium. Several specialists in reactor engineering have said they believe the uranium in Oklo could not have been rich enough in U-235 for a reaction to take place naturally. Interesting. Oh, just checking in, seeing where Gauth is at. Let me see what else we got for artifact. See, do you think time travel is a myth or a reality? Ooh, I love one. Uh, a 2,000-year-old earthquake detector. And I love earthquakes, by the way. I just have to tell you, love earthquakes, volcanoes. Okay. In 132 AD, I'm going to butcher this name too, Zhang Hen created the world's first seismoscope. How exactly it works remains a mystery, but replicas have worked with precision comparable to modern instruments. In 138 AD, indicated that an earthquake occurred about 300 west of, oh goodness, is it Loyang, the capital city? No one had felt the quake in Loyang, missed the warning until a messenger arrived days later requesting aid. Ooh, okay. How about this one? 150,000-year-old pipes. So again, my question is, did someone time travel forward, crisscrossing with modern technology, and the modern technology is being integrated with ancient society? It's a theory. I mean, anything is possible, right? I mean, I work in healthcare. I mean, anything is possible. And I work in so yeah. There's a wide range of normal that I serene chaos. It's so chaotic. It's serene. Okay. Caves near Mount, again, gonna butcher this, is it Beijing in China contain pipes leading to a nearby lake. Were dated by the Beijing Institute of Geology to 150,000 years ago, according to Brian of .com. State-run media, oh goodness, Xinhui reported that the pipes were analyzed at a local smeltery and 8% of the material could not be identified. Uh, Shen Jingdong, a geology research fellow from the China Earth Administration, told state-run newspaper People's Daily in 2007 that some of the pipes were found to be high active. Jindong said iron-rich magma may have risen from the deep in the earth, bringing the iron into fissures were solidified into tubes. Though he had something about these pipes, he cited the radioactivity as an example of the strange qualities of the pipes. That's weird. I think that is anti-cathode mechanism. 2000 mechanical device used to calculate the position of the sun, moon, planet date of the ancient Olympic Games around 150 BC was able to calculate astronomical I can't talk astronomical changes with great precision. If it hadn't been discovered, no one would possibly believe that it could exist because it's so sophisticated, said mathematician Tony Freeth in a Nova documentary. Matthias, is it, I'm going to butcher this, Butit, director of research and development for Watchmaker, and I'm going to butcher this, Hublot said in a video released by the Hellenic Republic Ministry of Culture and Tourism, this Antikythera mechanism includes ingenious features which are not found in modern watchmaking. That's interesting. My dad likes watches. I should tell him that. Let me just. Khaleesi says she doesn't love earthquakes, and that's totally fair. We can time travel in our sleep. I do believe that. I believe that maybe something can happen in our sleep that I don't know, because I've woken up like wet or like sand in my bed, like weird stuff that has no explanation of why that would be in my bed. Okay, let's see what else we can find on our list. And I actually wanted to highlight this other story as well. I wanted to highlight. Here we go. This is a Reddit Unsolved Mysteries post. And I thought this was interesting. And but it's a Reddit. It's the mysterious disappearance of Mike Markham, inventor, time traveler, or urban legend. Mike Markham was a young electrical engineer in the 90s who tried to build a time machine in his backyard using homemade Tesla coils. In 1995, right after one of his experiments, a massive blackout hits his neighborhood. And shortly after giving an interview on the paranormal radio show Coast to Coast AM, Mike vanished without a trace. Now, you guys, I used to listen to Coast AM all the time, and this show I believe primarily airs in the middle of the night, and it's like 4 hours of everything paranormal. And when I mean like everything, I mean like everything. So I'll continue, sorry. It said he managed to activate a device capable of opening a temporal vortex, but no one knows what happened to him afterward. Some believe he actually traveled through time with advanced technology, while others think it was an elaborate hoax or special experiment. The only thing certain is that Mike Markham was never seen or heard from again. Is this reality myth or conspiracy? If you have any info, theories, or stories, share them. This mystery remains unsolved. So, do you think Mike Markham, do you think that he was successful in his time travel? Or do you think it might have been an opportunity for maybe 15 minutes of fame? Because, what if he didn't figure out the return? What if it was just like a one-way ticket and there wasn't a return? You know, like I it's weird because I'm all about time travel, but can you imagine, like, are they calculating the return or the possibilities of the return? Like, okay, it's okay to get from point A to point B, but can you get to point B back to point A, or where you go from point B to C to D? Or nothing at all. Isn't it trippy? It is trippy. Like, what happens if you're successful? Nobody would ever know because you would be missing, and maybe somebody assumes that you failed and you would never get your 15 minutes of fame or prove that you time traveled. Because if you did time travel in the future, let's say, um, who's going to be there to say you time traveled? Like Time Traveler's Wife? I've never seen that. Of course I haven't, but I've never seen that. Is it like where he forgets her or she forgets him, or they're lost in essentially space? The movie, oh, it's two? I haven't seen either. Neither. Yeah, yeah, how do you prove you time traveled and how do you prove you're successful? Okay, there was another one Gail sent me. Hang on. And I just want to say thank you, Khaleesi, for supporting me. Um, where is it? Here we go. This is Snopes, or I call it, is it Snopes or Snoops? SNOPES.com. And this is kind of a similar story to one that I heard, and I'm sure Gelf has it in his back pocket, but it's a more recent story on time travel. I believe it spans to 2006 or 2009. I'm hoping that Gelf found it. If not, I'll find it and let you know. But this is a fact checked, I think it's Snoop's. It's the strange case of time traveling Rudolph Fentz, a man who had mysteriously disappeared 74 years earlier, reportedly turned up in New York City in 1950, yet he hadn't aged a day. Oh, wow. That's crazy. I'm just looking at the date. It reminds me of a birth date. Anyways, so a man named Rudolph Fentz, who had mysteriously disappeared 74 years earlier, turned up alive in Times Square in 1950. In 1950, a New York City officer who was working missing persons cases examined the body of an approximately 30-year-old man that was brought into the morgue. The man had shown up in the middle of Times Square at 11:15 that evening, gawking and looking around at the cars and up at the signs like he'd never seen them before, then quickly hit and killed by a cab when he tried to cross a street against the traffic lights. The pockets of the deceased's clothing held multiple pieces of coinage, and currency of forms that had not been produced for several decades. Yet many of them were in mint condition. His possessions also included items from types of businesses that no longer existed in New York City, i.e., a bill from a livery, is that livery stable, and a brass slug from a saloon. A letter postmarked in 1876 and cards bearing the name Rudolph Fentz with an address on Fifth Avenue. Further investigations turned up no listings for a Rudolph Fence in New York City phone directories. The Fifth Avenue address listed on the dead man's cards had been a business rather than a residence for many years, and no one there had heard of Rudolph Fentz. The deceased fingerprints matched none on file, and no current missing persons reports or inquiries fit the details of the body in the morgue. Moreover, the dead man's clothes appeared to be about 75 years out of date in style. His apparel bore tags with the name and address of a tailor whom no one had ever heard of, and his hat bore a tag from a store that had gone out of business many years earlier. The investigating officer finally turned up a listing in an old phone directory for Rudolph Fentz Jr., a man in his 60s who had passed away 5 years earlier. His widow had since moved to Florida, but by mail she supplied that the information that her husband's father, Rudolph Fentz, had disappeared sometime in the 1870s, having gone out for a walk around 10 p.m. one evening and never returned. A search of the missing persons file for 1876 turned up a report for Rudolph Fentz, whose clothing and address corresponded to those of the man killed in Times Square in 1950. This report from New York PD Captain Hubert V. Rim about the unexplained disappearance and inexplicable reappearance 74 years later of what appeared to be Rudolph Fentz had been reproduced in various forms since the 1970s as one of the many tales that seemingly confirms the existence of time travel. Yet it is not a true account at all, but rather an excerpt from a short story titled I'm Scared, which was penned by science fiction writer Jack Finney, whose best known work was the novel The Body Snatchers and published in Collier's magazine in 1951. In that story, the narrator is puzzled when he catches a broadcast of a radio program that had gone off the air several years earlier. He then tracks a series of unusual events that are indicative of temporal disturbances. A man received a telephone call from his sister that she insisted she hadn't made until 3 days later. A bank discovered that a check had been deposited the day before it was written. A letter mailed from Wyoming was delivered to a New York City address just 17 minutes later, and a man was shot and killed by a gun that police had found and impounded the previous day. The narrative involving Captain Rim and the reappearance of Fentz was the longest and most detailed vignette offered in I'm Scared as evidence of the narrator's discovery of rifts in time occurring all around New York City. The cause of those temporal disturbances and the message of I am scared was explicit in the story's closing paragraphs. Sorry, I'm just wondering if this is part of the. It says, haven't you noticed too, on the part of nearly everyone you know, a growing rebellion against the present and an increasing longing for the past? I have. Never before in all my long life have I heard or have I had so many people wish they lived at the turn of the century, or when life was simple or worth living, or when you could bring children into the world and count on the future, or simply in the good old days. People didn't talk that way when I was young. The present was a glorious time, but they talk that way now. For the first time in man's history, man is desperate to escape the present. Our newsstands are jammed with escape literature, the very name of which is significant. Entire magazines are devoted to fantastical stories of escape, to other times, past and future, to other worlds and planets, escape to anywhere but here and now, Even our larger magazines, book publishers, and Hollywood are beginning to meet the rising demand for this kind of escape. Yes, there is a craving in this world like a thirst, a terrible mass presence that you can almost feel, of millions of minds struggling against the barriers of time. I am utterly convinced that this is terrible mass pressure of millions of minds is already slightly but definitely affecting time itself. In the moments when this happens, when the almost universal longing to escape is greatest, my incidents occur. Man is disturbing the clock of time, and I am afraid it will break. When it does, I leave to your imagination the last few hours of madness that will be left to us. All the countless moments that now make up our lives suddenly ripped apart and chaotically tangled in time. While I have lived most of my life, I can be robbed of only a few more years. But it seems too bad. This universal craving to escape what could be a rich, productive, happy world. We live on a planet well able to provide a decent life for every soul on it, which is all 99 of 100 beings asked. Why in the world can't we have it? Well, that's pretty deep. Is Gelth here? Oh, Gelth was in and out. Okay, let's see what else we got. Um, let's see. There is the Philadelphia experiment. Have you guys heard of that one? Okay. No, I heard about this one. The Philadelphia experiment was an alleged event claimed to have been witnessed by an ex-merchant mariner named Carl M. Allen at the United States Navy's Philadelphia Naval Shipyard in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, United States, sometime around October 28, 1943. Allen described an experiment where the U.S. Navy attempted to make a destroyer escort, USS Eldridge, disappear and the bizarre results that followed. The story surfaced in late 1955 when Allen sent a book full of handwritten annotations referring to the experiment to a U.S. Navy research organization and little later a series of letters making further claims to a UFO author. Allen's account of the event is widely understood to be a hoax. Several different and sometimes contradictory versions of the alleged experiment have circulated over the years in paranormal literature and popular movies. The U.S. Navy maintains that no such experiment was ever conducted, that the details of the story contradict well established facts about the USS Eldridge, and that the physics the experiment is claimed to be based on are non existent. That's a good point. Um, is anybody asking about the physics? Like, I want to be like, hey, can I see your calculations real quick? Like, how did you figure out the calculation to, like, I don't know, essentially split atoms into pieces and send us into space and we end up somewhere else? And I think that's the theory. Um, see, origins of the story. Let me just look through this. It's a Wikipedia article. So let me look through. There's books about it. Okay, let's hear about the evidence and research. And then I'll go back to the other juicy bits. So, evidence and research. The historian Mike Dash notes that many authors who publicized the Philadelphia experiment story after that of Jessup appeared to have conducted little or no research of their own. Through the late 1970s, for example, is it Alan D? Allen was often described as mysterious and difficult to locate, but Gorman determined Allen's identity only after a few phone calls. Others speculate that much of the key literature emphasizes dramatic embellishment rather than pertinent research. Burlett's and Moore's account of the story, The Philadelphia Experiment, Project Invisibility, claim to include factual information such as transcripts of an interview with a scientist involved in the experiment, but their work has also been criticized for plagiarizing key story elements from the novel Thin Air, which was published a year earlier. Okay, so we really don't know much more than what we know. Personnel at the 4th Naval District have suggested that the alleged event was a misunderstanding of routine research during World War II at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. One theory is that the foundation for the, I'm going to butcher this, is it apocryphal stories, arose from degaussing experiments, which have the effect of making a ship undetectable or invisible to magnetic mines. Another possible origin of the story about levitation, teleportation, and effects of human crew might be attributed to experiments with the generating plant of the destroyer USS Timmerman, wherein a high frequency generator produced corona discharges, although none of the crew reported suffering effects from the experiment. That's interesting. Corona discharges. We'll have to look that up. Observers have argued that it is inappropriate to grant credence to an unusual story promoted by one individual in the absence of corroborating evidence. Robert Gorman wrote in Fate magazine in 1980 that I don't even know how to say, I'm just going to butcher this name. Carl Allen, who is said to have correspondence with Jessup, was Carl Meredith Allen of New Kensington, Pennsylvania, who had established a history of psychiatric illness and who may have fabricated the primary history of the experiment as a result of his mental illness. Gomar later realized that Allen was a family friend and a creative and imaginative loner, sending bizarre writings and claims. And then it goes into timeline inconsistencies. USS Eldridge was not commissioned until August 27, 1943, and it remained in port in New York City until September 1943. The October experiment allegedly took place while the ship was on its first shakedown cruise in the Bahamas, which conspiracy theorists tried to explain away by claiming that the ship's logs might have been falsified or else still be classified. Conspiracy theorists also attempt to explain why the inconsistency by claiming that is it Hammond, was actually used rather than USS Eldridge, as USS Hammond arrived in the shipyard on October 20th, 1943, ignoring the eyewitness statements from Carl M. Allen, which launched the hoax in the first place. The Office of Naval Research stated in 1996, ONR has never conducted investigations on radar invisibility either in 1943 or at any time, pointing out that the ONR was not established until 1946. It denounces the accounts of the Philadelphia experiment as complete science fiction. A reunion of Navy veterans who had served aboard USS Eldridge told a Philadelphia newspaper in April 1999 that their ship had never made port in Philadelphia. Further evidence discounting the Philadelphia experiment timeline comes from USS Eldridge's complete World War II action report. including the remarks section of the 1943 Decalogue, available on microfilm. Is that? Oh, I don't even know how to say that word, Khaleesi. So, the Philadelphia experiment, did it happen or did it not happen? I'm more on the side of it didn't happen. All right, what else we got? Let's see. Oh, the Montauk Project's supposed to be something time travel too? Oh, I didn't even notice that. Okay, let's read this because I'm like super interested in this. The Montauk Project is supposedly, it's what Stranger Things is supposedly based on. Allegedly, it's a rumor that I heard. But the Montauk Project is a conspiracy theory that alleges there were a series of United States government projects conducted at Camp Hero or Montauk Air Force Station in Montauk, New York, for the purpose of developing psychological warfare techniques and exotic research, including time travel. The story of the Montauk Project originated in the Mon Project series of books by Preston Nichols, which intermixes those stories with stories about the Bulgarian experiment. Sorry. Let me see. Okay. Origin. Stories about the Montauk Project have circulated since the early 1980s. According to UFO researcher Jacques Vallée, the Montauk experiment stories seem to have originated with highly questionable account of Preston Nichols and Al Balik, who both claim to have recovered repressed memories of their own involvement. Preston Nichols also claims that he was periodically abducted to continue his participation against his will. Nicholas, born May 24, 1946, on Long Island, New York, claims to have degrees in parapsychology, psychology, and electrical engineering, and he has written a series of books known as the Montauk Project series, along with Peter Moon, whose real name is Vincent Barbarick. The primary topic of the Montauk Project concerns the alleged activities of Montauk Point. These center on topics including United States government military experiments in fields such as time travel, teleportation, mind control, contact with extraterrestrial life, and staging fake Apollo moon landings, framed as developments that followed the 1943 Philadelphia experiment. Both Peter Moon and Preston Nichols have encouraged speculation about the contents. For example, they wrote, "Whether you read this as science fiction or nonfiction, you are in for an amazing story," in their first chapter, describing much of the content as soft facts and a guide for readers, and publishing a newsletter with updates to the story. The work has been characterized as fiction. I have not seen Stranger Things. My son has a T-shirt from Walmart that says Stranger Things, and it's his favorite T-shirt. And we get asked that question so often, and so we've tried to watch Stranger Things. It's definitely not a TV show for young kids. We made it through about like 30 seconds, and then we got too scared and then had to like turn it off. So, but I heard it's like a great TV show. I'm just gonna have to watch it without my kids. Just 1 second. I will be right back. Sorry, guys. Mom life. Let's see what else we got. Mm, what else did he send me? Oh, we saw that one. I have a story for you guys. Hang on. I know that there's a more recent story. It might be this guy. It's not. Okay, here's the story. John, is it Tidor? Was a famous internet persona appearing on forums in 2000 to 2001, claiming to be a soldier from 2036 sent back to retrieve an IBM 5100 computer. Tidor predicted a U.S. Civil War beginning in 2005, which didn't happen, a nuclear World War III in 2015, again, didn't happen, and described a future with a new capital in Omaha. Okay, didn't happen. Though his predictions failed, he created a lasting, enigmatic, and widely debated internet legend. This isn't the story that I was looking for, but it's interesting. Um, so it looks like in March 2001, he stopped posting. He says he claimed to use a gravity distortion time displacement unit built by GE in 2034 and mounted it in a 1966 Corvette or 1987 Suburban. I definitely think that he may have not been a time traveler, but it's not this guy. The story I'm looking for was actually overseas in Europe, and I believe it was Ukraine, but I could be wrong. And I know it sounds crazy. Here we go. Let me just check in real fast with the chat. Okay. Let's see. Oh no, did I lose it? Oh no, I didn't. Okay. The story of the Ukraine time traveler refers to, I'm going to butcher his name, Sergei, I'm just going to say P, okay? A purported traveler who appeared in Kyiv on April 23rd, 2006, dressed in 1950s attire, carrying an outdated camera and holding a Soviet era ID. He claimed to have traveled from 1958 after seeing a UFO, later disappearing from a psychiatric hospital, with developed film showing 1950s scenes. Witnesses, including a Dr. Pablo, again, I'm going to butcher this, I'm just going to say K, reported that the time traveler was born in 1932, looked 25, yet possessed authentic looking Soviet documents. So I love how they can look back and find these, I guess, artifacts or, objects that really do point to their time of origin. Because really, that's like the only evidence we have. And the fact that some of these places or people don't exist anymore leads more weight to maybe there is time travel that is possible, but why now? Or why, like, I have many, many questions. But anyways, I'm going to just say the origin and debunking evidence for the story originates from a 2012 Ukrainian TV show, Aliens, that reenacted stories, likely making a well-known urban legend or creative fiction. No authentic police, hospital, or historical records exist for the time travel's 2006 appearance. And that kind of makes me a little disappointed knowing that factoid. Yeah, it might have gotten debunked. It might have. All right, let's see what else we got. Um, let's see. What else we got on here that we haven't covered? Mm, 'Cause a lot of these we've said. Okay, 9 strange cases of real life time travels. I'm totally gonna butcher these names, but Australian artist painted a painting titled "The Expected" in 1860. It depicts a young boy with a flower waiting for an approaching girl. But what's that in the girl's hands? It sure looks like she's playing with a modern smartphone. Was the artist a time travel or the girl he painted? According to art historians, the girl is actually holding a small prayer book, which were common in the 19th century Austria. People on social media, however, have seized on the smartphone theory, so believe what you will. In 1911, British ladies Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jordan visited a small French chateau known as the Petit Trianon on the grounds of Versailles. While in the building, they claimed to experience a time slip, witnessing people in 17th century clothes and even spotting Marie Antoinette among them. The two women wrote a book about their experience, which became a bestseller at the time. However, it also earned them plenty of ridicule for their unbelievable story. Some theories of what happened is that the women saw actors in period costume and, being so thrilled to be in Versailles, kind of lost track of reality. However, no conclusive proof of what, if anything, happened in, I'm going to butcher this, Petit Trianon has never come forward. Oh, here's Gauth. Oop.
Yo, sorry,
Hey,
I'm late.
you.
Had some unexpected visitors turn up. Had to deal with that.
Oh, you're good. So I
Oh, I
went
can do
through
it this way.
most of our stories that you sent me.
You have most, not all. And for some weird
Oh, did
reason,
you
my
hide them from me?
only the ones that are the Gmail, the Google pages that what do you call it? Don't show up properly. Um, Next, for some reason, it signed me out of freaking it signed me out of my YouTube account on my PlayStation.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I did tell Khaleesi I would try and do it on like have the YouTube on the PlayStation pulled up so I could watch the comments.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, let's see if this works.
All right, I'm gonna mute myself and have you take over. All right.
Not yet, not yet. I'm still trying to freaking get
Okay.
in here. Uh, how the hell
So,
do I delete?
Khaleesi, what do you think about time travel?
Okay. By the way, you have to tell me the what stories you've read because I have no idea.
We went over part of the artifacts
You,
article. We went over is it the Michael disappearance where he was making a time machine and then like he disappeared.
that one
Um
that one I hadn't read. Hmm.
yeah, he made a time machine and disappeared. Um what else? We did the Snoops one where the guy was in New York City. Um
That's
I
the
think I
Rudolph fenced one.
yeah, we did the Rudolph fence and then um I googled the 2000, was it the 2000 time travel hoax guy, and then we just covered the Ukrainian time traveler.
Okay. So there is. I did hear you were doing something about the Elizabeth and the other lady that went to France and saw um what's her face?
Oh, Marie Antoinette.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully this works. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay. So apparently I've got to log into my Gmail account and uh yes, it's me. God damn, what number is it? 16. Okay. So
Oh my god, were the s'mores cookies good? Oh, I should look. I didn't know that. I want s'more cookies. Actually, I just want s'mores.
fine. I'll do it this way. All right. Let's bring this up. I need to just. No, I don't want to know about horses.
I just realized my dog is here.
Hold on. I'll understand. As soon as I can find the bloody the thingo, I'll be right to go.
You know, Khaleesi, you know what I was thinking about? This is what I was thinking about. Like in your oven, you get like you get a pan and then like you layer it with like graham crackers and then like you get another layer of marshmallows and then the chocolate candy and then the top is like the graham crackers. I'm wondering if that would like work. And then you have like a s'more pie, but it's like in like but you don't have to have like a fire. I should totally try that and see if I could like mess that up and see how badly that would be.
Finally. Hold on. Let's go. Time travel. Apparently,
Oh
once
my
it's
god.
uh,
Sorry,
let me
gals, we are
kill.
talking about food.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. You're not making me bloody hungry, so I don't care. Um,
Wow, that was mean.
I ate before the stream, so I'm not hungry.
We're talking about s'mores.
I
But
don't
like,
know what a s'more is. I don't really. I know it's a thing you use for camping, but alright. So, uh, yes. Uh, Now question is live chats. I think I
it's like a
can.
biscuit.
mm,
It's like a Oreo, but with like better
Why is it not
stuff.
letting me bring up the live chat? Oh, that sucks. It's not letting me bring up the live chat. All right, so let me go over my thing. So, so you did Rudolph Fence. You did the ladies from there. Did you do the Russian guy that apparently you know uh okay, so now that okay, I can kind of see the chat, I think. Yeah. Sorry, I'm still a massive mess from all of that. I just had to speak to my sister as well and deal with some stuff to do with my nephew who has broken his knee, and the people that are supposed to help him aren't exactly helping him because, yeah.
No.
Yeah, all right. So if you want to go for a quick run, Emmy, I will work this out with Khaleesi what we're doing, and then yeah, because
Okay.
I can kind of see the chat now. Um,
Okay.
okay. Did we do the Montauk Project, the Philadelphia experiment? Everything's just really, really frustrating. Khaleesi's like freaking. Yeah, I'm just really annoyed at the moment. Um, I know she didn't go over Andrew Carlson because that's one I didn't give her. Um, yes, to which both the Montauk Project and the Philadelphia experiment, Closey. I need more information than that. Um, so Andrew Carlson is a well-known fictional urban legend. He apparently was arrested in 2003 for suspiciously turning an $800 investment into $350 million via 126 consecutive high-risk stock trades. He allegedly confessed from being a time traveler from 200 years in the future. And apparently, let's see, it was published in the Weekly World News, which, as we know, is a pile of crap. Uh, I am so lost, Khaleesi, because yeah, uh, yeah. Apparently, he offered to give the location of Osama bin Laden in exchange for leniency. Um, and after posting bail, he disappeared, and no record of his existence can be found prior to the incident. I yeah. Uh, I know she said something about doing the out of place artifacts, which annoyed me because I was looking forward to that. Grr. Um, this one we only have a snippet of. Unfortunately, it's apparently the Iranians or Iranians, however you want to pronounce it, built a time machine. Um, at April 2013, that a local inventor had created a form of time machine, but the article was mysteriously removed as quickly as it was posted, and that's all we have on it, which is absolutely bizarre. Like, yeah, I went to several sources, but yeah, that's the only information we have on that. Apparently, the guy's name was Razgi. Um, yeah, but yeah. Uh, did you go over the story of Bella, the Albanian woman? Yeah, I know, Khaleesi. That's why I brought it up on my TV so I can see it. I can even see it without my glasses on. So Bella is
No,
now.
I didn't cover that.
Okay, good. I still want to slap you for the out of place artifacts. I was looking forward to that one. Um, Bella is an Albanian woman from the present who claims to have gone forward to the year 3800 and has evidence, a selfie she supposedly took during her travels. According to Bella, the process of time travel is not very pleasant, as the time machine would pass through a high voltage shot through her body and everything in her vision would turn black while she traveled. Basically, it kills you and reconstitutes you on the other side. So the person that time travels, yeah, you're not you anymore. Um, in the year 3800, robots apparently rule over humans. They are capable of talking and being able to make facial expressions. Bella had apparently encountered one of them herself. It asked her where she came from, but she didn't respond. Despite the evidence, many people say that that is not enough. She was criticized for having perfectly applied lipstick in the photo, even though she was in the midst of a chaotic environment full of killer robots. Bella apparently took several pictures in the future, so skeptics aren't satisfied that so far she's only presented one of them, and that she only the only one she did choose to show are pictures of half her face. Oh, for fuck's sake, that scared the crap out of me. Uh, no, skip. It freaking yeah, went to an ad. Um, Brian Johnson, or Bryant. In 2017, police officers in Wyoming were called to deal with a drunk man who was roaming the streets and claiming to be a time traveler from 2048. Bryant claimed that he traveled back in time to warn the world of an alien invasion that he believed would happen in 2018. He was supposed to return to the year 2018 to warn the Earth. However, he accidentally ended up in 2017 because the aliens got him drunk. Ah, they didn't give him a butt probe too? Damn. Sorry. Um, Bryant demanded to talk to the president of the town himself so he could personally warn him about the impending alien attack. Instead of course, Bryant was arrested and given public drunkenness charges. Yeah, there's that one. I won't go over that one. You did Mark Markham. Apparently, the astronaut Sergei Krak- Krik- Krikalev has technically traveled 0.02 seconds into the future. Due to the phenomenon that is a relativistic time dilation of spending 803 days, 9 hours, and 39 minutes in orbit at high speed. So technically, time travel is possible, but yeah. Um, did you go over the chronovisor, Emmy? No, Emmy is obviously still busy with Dingo. Um, Khaleesi, did you
Wait,
go
what?
over? Yes, no. Did you go over the Did you go over the chronovisor?
No.
Okay, and by the way, Khaleesi asked what dog you've got.
I have a German Shepherd. She's a
Okay,
big baby and she was born on my birthday. She's a princess.
okay. So the chronovisor, basically claimed to be a time viewing machine invented by Italian priest and scientist Father Pellegrino Enetti in the 1960s. The chronovisor was supposedly allowed the users to witness historical events as they unfolded. Onetti asserted that the chronovisor operated by detecting and decoding residual electromagnetic radiation left by past events. His claims about witnessing the speeches of Cicero, the Last Supper, and even the crucifixion of Jesus Christ fueled speculation about the device's capabilities. The validity of the coronavirus's existence, however, is shrouded in skepticism and controversy. Onetti proved to be provided limited details about its construction, citing a team of scientists and Nobel laureates who collaborated on the project, yet no tangible evidence or blueprints have ever surfaced, leading to many questions about Onetti's narrative. And basically, the it's now in. the Vatican archives, where we will never see it. Um, did you do what do you call it? Um, did you do like the Glock, Emmy?
No.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, Khaleesi, apparently it's in the Vatican, but yeah. So the die Glock or the bell, um, actually, who was it? Just recently, Simon Whistler did a episode on something similar just recently, and it does mention the Glock as one of the conspiracy theories surrounding it. So the Glock was purported to be a top scientific technology device, wonder weapon, or Wunderwaffe, developed in the 1940s in Nazi Germany. Rumors of this device have persisted for decades after World War II and um, were used as a plot trope in the fiction novel Lightning by Dean Koontz and in the fictional television series 12 Monkeys season 4. First fully described by Polish journalist and author Igor Wachowski, it was later popularized by military journalist and author Nick Cook, who associated with Nazi occultism, anti-gravity, and free energy suppression research. The mainstream viewers have criticized claims about De Glock being pseudoscientific recycled rumors and a hoax. De Glocky and other Nazi miracle weapons have been dramatized in a lot of other things. Apparently, it made an appearance in what was it? The Kecksburg incident. They're saying that was the a time traveling De Glock. That was the Simon Whistler video. God, bloody hell! There's a lot of ads on YouTube. So the Glock was a bell-shaped object about 4 meters in height and 3 meters in diameter, incorporating two high-speed counter-rotating cylinders filled with purplish metal liquid, um, supposedly highly radioactive, named Serum 525. I think it was like a cesium thing. Cook recounts claiming that scientists and technicians who worked on the bell and who did not die of its effect were wiped out by the SS at the close of the war, and the device was moved to unknown locations. Cook proposed that the SS official Hans Kemmler later secretly traded this technology to the US military in exchange for his freedom. Wachowski suggested that the concrete ring called the Henge near uh, Wenceslas mine, built in 1943 or 44, vaguely resembling Stonehenge, was used to tether the bell. God damn it. Sorry. There we go. Sorry, it changed for some reason. Where was I? Uh, yeah, it was used to tether the bell during the tests. The structure is merely the remains of but apparently, according to the writer, the structure is merely the remains of an ordinary industrial cooling tower. Um, so Wachowski's book has he claimed to have discovered evidence of Deglocker in a review of World War II era documents and declassified by the Polish government, which led to additional research via archives and interviews. The first document allegedly supplied by Wachowski by an unnamed Polish government official was an affidavit from war crimes trial for the General Jacob Sporenberg, who supposedly confessed to ordering the murder of about 60 persons who had knowledge of the secretive projects. Um, he also claims that the Daglaka was organized under a division of the Waffen SS and operated mainly at facilities in the lower Silesia, Yeah. So apparently it was conceived in 1942 and began active experimentation in the mid uh, 1944. Prisoners from the Gross Rosen concentration camp were supposedly exposed to radiation from De Glock, resulting in many deaths and health problems. Survivors of the camp are also alleged to have reported witnessing tests from De Glock was reporting a bright bluish light from the object. Um, yeah, so he postulated that that Zerum 525 was likely an irradiated form of mercury used in the creation to form a plasma that was intended as a weapon and/or propulsion system, but may have also been capable of distorting space-time. Yeah. Yes, the Vatican is mysterious, but who cares about the Vatican? Um, Emmy, did you go over the man from Torrid? Because there's a rabbit hole attached to that one. Mm. Nope. All right, am I still on the stream? Yep. Okay. You still there, Emmy? Wait, Emmy joined on a third account? What the hell?
I don't know what happened.
Ah, okay. There you are. Yeah, did you do the man from Torrid,
The
Emmy?
no tutor tighter.
Oh, no, no. John Titor's different from Thinger. Okay, if you've done John Titor, then that's fine. Uh, so so the man from Torrid has apparently been solved. They know who the man is. So the story is that in 1954, a man allegedly arrived at Haneda Airport in Tokyo with a passport from Torred, a country that doesn't exist. Was he a traveler from another dimension or just a small-time fraudster trying to sneak into the country? So on a hot summer day, he arrived at the Haneda Airport in Tokyo. He was perfectly unremarkable, Caucasian, bearded, wearing a suit. He may have spoken French, and he knew a fair bit of Japanese, which is nothing out of the ordinary. That is until the man handed over his passport. The passport was seeming legitimate, but with one oddity. It was issued in the country of Torred. As far as immigration officers at Haneda Airport were aware, Torred was not a country that existed anywhere on Earth. When confronted with the man about the falsehood, however, he grew frustrated. He insisted that to them Torred did exist and had existed for 1,000 years. Believing the strange man may have been a criminal, Japanese officials put him up at a nearby hotel for the night while they conducted a more thorough investigation. The two guards were stationed outside the man's room to make sure he didn't escape, yet the next morning, when the officers went to speak with the man, they were shocked to find that he'd vanished without a trace, or so the story goes. So, some people believe he's from Dingo. However, so the people that believe that the man from Torred hails from another dimension is the country of Torred itself. When he was presented with a map and asked to point out the country, the man is said to have pointed at Andorra, which is between Spain and France. As he quickly became angry and confused why his home country of Torred was not listed on this map, where it should have been and where it had been for 1,000 years. The man also is said to have currency from several European countries on his person and stamps from numerous airports around the globe. He had even visited Tokyo on several previous occasions. Yet the company he claimed to work for had never heard of him, nor had the hotel he allegedly had a reservation at, or the company officials in Tokyo who he was supposed to be meeting with. Despite this, the man supposedly had various documents to support his story. Then again, the man's disappearance from the hotel room uh, was odd because apparently it was several floors up and lacked a balcony. The police reportedly determined that the man could not have escaped by the windows, and the guard never saw the man leave. Um, yeah, so they're saying basically he crossed from one parallel to another. So they have, um, according to Snopes, the man from Torrid is a greatly embellished and fantastical version of a far less sensational real story. Um, So apparently the guy was nothing more than a simple fraudster. There is considerable amount of evidence to suggest that the true identity of the man from Torrid, John Allen Zegras, who was arrested in Tokyo in 1960 for trying to cash phony checks after using a false passport to get into the country. On July 29th, 1960, a debate in the British House of Commons referred to the case of John Allen Zegras, who was said to have described himself as an intelligent agent of Colonel Nasser and a naturalized Ethiopian. This man, according to the evidence, has travelled all over the world with a very impressive looking passport indeed. It is written in a language unknown and has remained unidentified, although it has been studied for a long time by philologists. The House member continued describing Zegras' passport as seemingly issued by the city of Tamanrosset, the capital state of Taured, which Zegras, claimed was an independent state roughly 2 million people south of the Sahara. The debate aimed to illustrate how easily passports could be forged. Uh, yeah. So, yeah. Let's see. Apparently, Zegras attempted suicide shortly after being sentenced to a 1 year imprisonment on charges of illegal entry and fraud. Um, yeah, let's see. Yeah, so apparently he went there to try and thingo, but there is a very interesting side story to this. Apparently, they think that the Zegras could be the infamous DB Cooper, the guy that hijacked the plane and took all the money.
Ooh, no way.
Yeah, I actually showed Emmy Emmy. I showed Khaleesi the picture of it, and yeah, it. There's a bit of an age difference between the two, but maybe it was yeah.
Well, he could have like worn a disguise, or like that guy has got to like, yeah, that guy got away with it. Just letting you know, he got away with it.
Yeah. So I've only got two more left. I've only got the Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk project. Did you want to do one of those?
Oh, we covered those two.
Oh, okay. Well, that's it then. That's well. The only thing I've got left is the poem that you accidentally cut me off from last time. So yeah,
You want to go ahead and finish that? I'm so sorry. I'm a
yeah,
terrible
yeah,
human being.
yeah. You're right. Okay, so I will restart it just like from the very beginning, just because I know people's memories aren't that good. Yeah, the double chin
Khaleesi says
person.
the neck and nose was wrong on the picture of DB Cooper.
Yeah, yeah. Who knows? Yeah. So, as I was saying in the stream where we have a lot of pride with a lot of things. This is considered one of the great national poems of Australia. Um, and I have been to the Snowy River. Um, nice area. Uh, so yeah, where do we start? Yeah, so there was movement at the station, for word had passed around that the colt from Old Regret had got away and had joined the wild bush horses. He was worth £1,000. So all the cracks had gathered to the fray. Um, cracks would be uh, the horse riders and stuff. Um, a- ah, all had tried, and noted riders from the stations near and far had mustered at the homestead overnight. For the bushmen's love hard riding where the wild bushes are, and the stock horses snuff and battle with delight. There was Harrison, who made his pile when Pardon won the cup. The old man with his hair as white as snow, but few could ride beside him with his blood was fairly up. He would go wherever horse and man could go. And then there was Clancy of the Overflow who came down to lend a hand. No better a horseman ever held the reins. Whenever a horse could throw him while the saddle girths would stand, he'd learned to ride while droving on the plains. And one was there, a stripling on a small and weedy beast. He was something like a racehorse undersized, with a touch of team or pony, 3 parts thoroughbred at least, and such as are by mountain horsemen prized. He was hard and tough and wiry, just the sort that won't say die. There was courage in his quick, impatient tread, and he bore the hedge of gaminess in his bright and fiery eye, and the proud and lofty courage of his head. He hails from the snowy river up the Kosciuszko side, where the hills are twice as steep and twice as rough, where a horse's hoof strap violate from the flint stones in every stride. The man that holds his own is good enough, and the snowy river riders on the mountain make their home. When the river runs, there's giant hills between, and I've seen many a horseman since I first commenced to roam, but nowhere yet such horsemen have I seen. And so he went. They found the horses by the big mimosa clump. They raced towards the mountain's brow, and the old man gave his orders. Boys, go up at them from the jump. No use to try for fancy riding now, and Clancy, you must wheel them. Try and wheel them to the right. Ride boldly, lad, and never fear the spills, for never yet was a rider that could keep their mob in sights, if once they gained the shelter of those hills. So Clancy rode to wheel them. He was racing on the wing, where the beast and boldest riders take their place, and he raced his stock horse past them, and he made the rangers ring. With the stock whip he met them face to face, then halted for a moment while they swung the dreaded lash. But then he saw their well-loved mountain full in view, and they charged beneath the stock whip and the sharp and sudden dash, and off into the mountain scrub they flew. Then fast the horsemen followed, where the gorges deep and black resounded to the thunder of the tread, and the stock whips woke their echoes, and they fiercely answered back. From the cliffs and crags they beetled overhead, and upward, ever upward, the wild horses held their way, where the mountain ash and courage grew wide, and the old man muttered fiercely, we may bid the mob good day. No man can hold them down the other side. When they reached the mountain summit, even Clancy took a pull. It might it well might make the boldest hold their breath, with a wild hot scrub grew thickly, and the hidden ground was full of wombat holes, and any slip was death. But the man from Snowy River let the pony have his head, and he swung his stockwhip round and gave a cheer, and he raced down the mountain like a torrent in its bed. While there a few others stood to watch in very fear, he sent the flint stones flying, and the pony kept his feet. He cleared the fallen timber in his stride, and the man from Snowy River never shifted in his seat. It was grand to see the mountain horseman ride through stringy barks and saplings on rough and broken ground. Down the hillside at racing pace he went, and he never drew the bridle till he landed safe and sound at the bottom of that terrible descent. He was right among the horses as they climbed the further hill, and the watchers on the mountain, standing mute, saw him ply the stockwhip fiercely, and was right amongst them still. As he raced across the clearing in pursuit, then lost him for a moment when the two mountain gullies met. In the ranges, but a final glimpse reveals, on a dim and distant hillside, the wild horses racing yet, with the man of Snowy River at their heels. And he ran them in a single-handed till their sides were white with foam, and he followed like a bloodhound on their track till they halted, cowed and beaten, then turned their heads for home. And alone, unassisted, he brought them back, but his hardy mounty pony was scarcely raised to trot. He was blood from hip to shoulder from the spur, but his pluck was still undaunted and his courage fiery hot. For never yet was a mountain horse a cur, and down by Kosciuszko, where the pine-clad ridges raise, the torn, rugged battlements on high, where the air is crystal clear, as clear as crystal, and white stars fairly blaze. At midnight in the cold and frosty sky, where the and where around the overflowing the red beds sweep and sway, to the breezes and rolling plains are wide, the man from Snowy River is a household word today, and the stockmen tell the story of his ride.
I like that.
as I said, that's one of the more national thing. There is actually a poem about Clancy of the Overflow. That is fairly short and brief, but I won't go into that. Um, which is also just as interesting. But yeah,
You want to share it tomorrow?
tomorrow I can't. I've actually got doctor's appointments tomorrow. I will be busy all day tomorrow. But on the
Oh,
weekend,
well, good luck with your doctor's appointments.
yeah. Um, on the weekend though, we should be right. Like Saturday, Sunday should be good.
All right. What's the next topic?
I have no idea.
Mm, I don't either.
We'll think of something.
Khaleesi, let us know what you want to talk about next.
Mm.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. And then, so let's do, yeah, let's do Saturday,
Yep.
same time.
Yep.
Okay, I'll send you a link and then we'll figure it out.
All right. No problem.
All right. Thanks, Khaleesi. Bye, gals.
Bye,
I hope you have
Lucy.
a good day
Bye.
tomorrow.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.